Day 2 from the Mode Classic continues on here. We have the 5th of six workouts for the elite men. This one's called Icebreaker. It's going to be a down and back chipper. Athletes will jog quickly across the floor. You'll see them get to the ski ergs. Well, they're starting on 40 cal skis, 20 dual kettlebell hang snatches working back towards the ropes, 10 legless rope climbs, 20 dual kettlebell snatch back towards the skis, hit the 40 cal skis, and get across the line. Lane 1 closest to us on this one. Maddox Metcalf there. Connor Hartman, Troy Bonsgard, Cody Nothenagel. 4 men in heat 1 of 4 for the elite men here on event 5 at the Mode Classic. Athletes starting on this one, presented by Ice Age Meals. And I can tell you what, I haven't had Ice Age Meals until this week. I've had a ton of them here this week and very impressed with what Nick and the crew have put together. Actually, James Sprague's mother and father-in-law have been helping out back there. Incredibly generous and nice of them. Huge community effort here at the Mode Classic from local members of the community in the gym, nearby gyms, parents, family members, volunteers who've all come in. You see the judges there in the nice LRX blue Mode Classic t-shirts. Athletes got those as well, except in white, I believe. We have 40 cals on the ski erg to start. As always, when it comes to skiing, there's a variety of different techniques. And you see Maddox with more of what I would call the Nordic strategy, more upright, more strokes per minute. He's also doing that little double pull that you sometimes see athletes do. Personally, I think Chandler Smith was one of the first I saw to do that at the Granite Games several years ago. A couple lanes down, Troy and Cody, more lengthy pulls, getting more hinging action and a good finishing pull. This workout in general is going to be quite grip demanding. You're holding something throughout the entire thing. The 10 legless rope climbs certainly stand out, but don't sleep on those dual kettlebell hang snatches with a pair of 53s and how much they can impact each other. Looks like Maddox Metcalf with that Nordic action on the ski erg, and Connor Hartman, who had a similar style, are going to be the first to move to the snatches for the first time here. These guys already took on one workout earlier today. Cody Nothenagel furthest away from us there. Came in 11th. Connor was 12th. Troy was 13th on that. Troy is the highest ranked athlete amongst these men for the competition as a whole. And he's moved up into 14th place right now. Trailing amongst these guys early though. All the men have advanced into the middle portion of this one, so we have to move the kettlebells after half the reps. And then they'll set them down and start in on 10 legless rope climbs. Probably doesn't show too well on the camera, but there's 2 separate pieces of tape up there, a green and a red, for the different height requirements for the men's and women's fields. As expected on the legless rope climb, the men will have to go to a higher target. Oftentimes, programmers will scale the reps for the women. In this case, James has not done that. He's chosen to scale the height of the rope climb. And actually, as I say that, I realize James Sprague is out there judging right now. So the middle part of this down and back chipper for the first time today, 10 legless rope climbs. Connor Hartman in the all black is going to be the first man to jump up and get going on those. Maddox right behind him, Cody as well. And you're going to see Troy be the last one up, but very quick and aggressive pulls. Keeps those arms at 90 degrees. And you'll see as the fatigue sets in, you'll see with the tension starts to lose and the arms lengthen. As long as you can keep that tight pull, it's generally a good sign. In terms of relative to the rest of the heats, I'll probably just be looking at the splits getting off of these 10 legless rope climbs. Everything else, you can kind of grind and grunt your way through, but this very muscularly fatiguing. So we've seen in the past with high volume legless rope climb workouts that you can come out and look great and suddenly everything can come undone. Well, hopefully that doesn't happen, but if history's any indicator, more than likely it will to someone at some point. The 16-year-old young man, Maddox Metcalf, up again. Cody Northenagel, Connor Hartman, and Troy Bonsgaard's going to get another rep in here as well. Different techniques again across the board. So on both the skier, again, the legless rope climbs, just in this first heat alone, small heat of 4, you get to see a few different ways to get these two things done. Seems like all the guys are into the second half of these. About 6.5 minutes into the working time period. Minute cap on this one. So you don't need to finish up these rope climbs in the first half of the workout, but the best guys certainly will be. Maddox with a little extra effort there at the top. He came up about less than an inch short of the red line, but stayed with it. Very good discipline for the young man there at the top of a difficult rep towards the end of this set. Hartman getting the full body into it. We saw that technique for the first time back in 2013 from Alessandro Pacelli, and I believe that's his last rep, so that's about 7:45 on the split for Hartman. And he'll be the first man to start working back down the chipper towards the skier. And immediately you're going to see here that those kettlebell snatches that seemed fairly easy on the way out, looking a little bit less stable, at least in the first rep or two there. So he's opened up a little bit of a lead here, but he's taken a break pretty quickly already. Hartman opened the competition with a really nice finish, 7th place on engine room. His next best finish up to this point came earlier this morning on commitment issues. So a good balance of skill set for him. I think Metcalf is done about the 8:30 mark. He's going to be about 10 reps behind. There is Metcalf. You see Hartman right in front of him. Troy and Cody still working on the legless rope climbs. And leader in the heat, Hartman, racing to the ski erg there. He's going to get started on it at about 9:20. Metcalf finishing up the first 10 snatches. Nagel has moved off the rope. Troy Bonsgard 2 reps to go. But Hartman all on his own here in heat 1. He's got 5 minutes to the time cap, chipping away at these last 40 calories on the ski erg. Once he finishes those, he'll step across the red line and likely log our first time to beat. 3 more heats to come up after this in the elite men's division. Metcalf still chipping away. And Troy, not sure if he got that rep there. Cody Nothnagel in the background. Advancing his kettlebells. Metcalf getting set to finish up. And he'll move to the ski erg. Hartman's going to be our first finisher, so Connor Hartman looking to set the time to beat on icebreakers. He's going to step across the line at about 10:50. As Maddox gets to the ski erg. Nothnagel there on the right working on those kettlebell snatches. Troy taking a big break back on the rope climbs. If he starts to go up again, we'll try to catch him. He's just in the background shaking out his arms. Troy's going to give it another chance here, see if he can get this rep in. He's a local favorite, so a big crowd cheering him on. And he will get it done. Nothnagel done with the snatches. He'll move to the ski erg. Metcalf, 3 minutes to the time cap. Looking to be the second finisher in the heat. Connor Hartman setting the pace here. He's been done for over 90 seconds now. Metcalf has got to be getting close. And Nothnagel also on the ski erg. We should have plenty of time to finish. Metcalf, who was fastest off the ski erg on the way out. The hand up from his judge now, getting close to finishing it. And Metcalf gonna walk around across the line at about the 13-minute mark. Troy into the final set of double kettlebell snatches there. Nothnagel still on that ski erg. And Metcalf trying to get comfortable on the ground after a good effort. 90 seconds to the cap. Nothnagel with a hand up there. And Troy will get to the skier. He'll have 45 seconds to absolutely send it. Nothnagel about to finish up. Has to get across that line. It's going to be 14:20 unofficially for him. Well, Troy Bonsgaard's going to let it rip here at the end, get as many calories as he can. You never know what's going to happen in those other heats. Troy will give an effort right up to the last second. Heat 1 in the book for the elite men. Connor Hartman, 10:50. Maddox Metcalf, 13 minutes. Cody Nothnagel, 14:20. 3 finishers. Heat 2 already on the competition floor.
I mean, I knew generally, but like nobody knows that the top 10 pro card is 25 grand, no expenses, and the top 10 games is 11 grand minus expenses. After taxes, you lose money being the 10th fittest in the world.
Plus 5 months of qualifiers.
Plus 5 months.
Potentially 5 competitions.
Like you're not a pro athlete.
No, you're chasing
the player.
Something cool, but look at James.
I know.
My scorecard. Is he an older heat? No, he just went. Oh. That's the one.
I haven't answered it yet.
So, 1046?
Yeah.
I'll just put appeal next to it. AP.
Alright, thank you.
Good with that?
That's great.
Thanks, Vince.
I'd like to get with Scott and share with him our season prior to the launch Tuesday, so he's the first person that reposts our stuff.
He's still working at one shot, but not like he was. He's still got Heat 2, ready to go. Taking on Icebreakers, event number 5 of 6. The first edition of the Mode Classic. Athlete's going to run across the floor there. Lane 1 closest to us, that's Johnny Sage. Next to him with the backwards hat, Tanner Stahl. Lane 3 is empty. Lane 4, Jacob Stolar. And farthest away from us, Jose Rios. 40 cals on the ski erg, 20 dual kettlebell hang snatch, 10 legless rope climb, and work your way back with the 20 snatches and 40 cals to finish it out. 15 minutes if you need it. 3 out of the 4 men in the first heat finished up. Connor Hartman, 10:50, fastest amongst them. Tudor's back in the booth. Tudor, having watched the first heat there, give us the first impressions on Icebreakers.
I mean, the obvious crux of this workout are the legless rope climbs, and how you manage those and the fatigue from that will play a big part in your overall finish in this.
With that being, such a clear separator in the middle of the workout, I mean, it's easy to get caught up in wanting to get out to a good start, but are these first 60 reps something that you want to maybe take a couple extra breaks, or even relaxing the grip on the ski erg a little bit that could really make a difference in those last few rope climbs?
Yeah, I like that, relaxing the grip on the ski, maybe taking sets of 5 or just short sets on those kettlebells, and anything to just manage that grip, most importantly, so that you don't see yourself slipping off the top of the rope.
I mean, the guys in the first heat did fairly well. I think Troy missed 1 rope climb by about 1 pull there at the end. All the other guys, I don't think they had any misses. They may have taken some big breaks between reps, but in a legless rope climb, the main goal is not to miss.
Yeah, I think in this sport, the legless rope climb, if I'm not mistaken, is probably the most costly no rep you can possibly get.
Unless there's some crazy 100-foot unbroken multiple obstacle handstand walk or something like that, which there was in Dubai one year in the finale.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, legless rope climb is what you would call an expensive rep. Jose Rios furthest away from us there, first to move. Jose, 5th place this morning on commitment issues, 3rd place last night on spring loaded. He's vaulted himself up into 9th place overall in the competition, and he's off to a quick start here once again.
Looks like he opted for a quick set of 5. Like I mentioned, just to make sure you don't really hold on to those kettlebells for dear life and then have it cost you on that rope.
Yeah, I think it makes sense, and we're going to see Tanner Stahl here move at the same time as him, having done a set of 10. You talked about Tanner having great gymnastics capacity, so
yes.
If he is confident with those legless rope climbs, or if athletes in general are, that's where you can potentially do something like that. But we'll have to see how it pays off. It's also the 5th workout of the weekend, so there's other residual fatigue that's going to come into play potentially.
I'm excited to see Tanner on these climbs and see how many pulls he does it in.
Prior to the elite men coming out here, the RX women were doing a similar workout with regular rope climbs. They only have to go to the 13-foot target, and there was a 5'11" woman in the outside lane. 1 pull.
1 pull.
Yeah.
I did. Bella mentioned that to me, and I would like to see a video of that. That would be. I don't even know if I could do a 13-foot rope climb with 1 pull.
She was smiling. She was laughing. I think the workout was just tailor-made for her. Well, and this is interesting here because Rios and Stahl were the first ones out to the kettlebells, but Jacob Stolar is the first one to get through them into the legless rope climb. So it's a small heat once again, 4 guys, but a lot of different strategies pretty early on.
Yeah, it looks like these guys are doing 5 pulls per 15-foot, hand over hand. I think minimizing the pulls is a good thing because it just means you're taking off a good chunk every time you pull with each arm.
Yeah, and I was talking about it earlier. The first time we saw 10 legless rope climbs in a workout was at 2014 regionals. It was obviously there was some running in between back then, but that workout came back several years later, and I still remember in 2022 watching athletes that are considered, top athletes in the sport get 8 or 9 in, and suddenly the wheels came off.
Yeah.
And they failed a rep, and they failed another rep, and they plummeted down the leaderboard. So it's great to look good on the first couple reps, but having that, I think that experience and knowing how your body might respond by the time you get to rep 8, 9, 10 is really the secret here.
Tanner doing almost a strict variation. Doesn't look like he's moving his legs much, but maybe that works for him. Like I said, very high gymnastics capacity and pulling.
Yeah, and we saw the guy who had the top time in the previous heat. You'll watch Tanner jump up here, and the legs will almost look like it's a dead body.
Yeah.
But Connor Hartman was doing what I always refer back to, the Alessandro Pacelli technique from 2013, getting the whole body momentum into it for a lot of his pulls, and it won him the heat. But just to show the wide scope and different ways that you can do a legless rope climb. Hands up for a few of these guys.
Yeah, and then you can see some of these athletes, once their hand over hand gets tired with just having their legs out in front, they go to a kip variation where both legs go behind them and they use their hips to try and drive that next arm forward, up to the rope.
Tanner's going up again, and he has not reached that point yet.
No, he's still looking really good with semi-strict.
7:45 was Connor Hartman's split getting off the legless rope climbs. Personally, I think it's the only relevant split in the workout.
Yep.
Up to that point. And after that, you can kind of push, because the last 60 reps, the weight's not too heavy. You can rip on a ski erg. You just got to make sure to get there.
It's like Tanner's in the lead with only 2 climbs left to go.
Yeah, we've just passed the 6-minute mark, so barring something unexpected here, he's certainly going to have a better split time than we saw from Connor. But I think Tanner's probably thinking about this workout as maybe his best chance to have a top 5 finish. He came 6th on Ring of Fire, ring muscle-ups being a big factor there. So with another gymnastics workout with the strict handstand push-ups later, this might be his chance at the end of the weekend to climb into the top 10. He's in 11th right now.
Yeah, and I just saw a move Jose Rios just did where he had that last hand placement before the red mark, and he used his top hand to touch the red mark, whereas some athletes opting for the bottom hand. I think that's less distance to travel overall with each hand.
Tanner Stahl touched the top of his last one at 6:37. It only took him 13 seconds to transition back to the kettlebells, which you see him working on there. So not only faster on the split time, but a very smooth transition. Rios having a conversation with both his judge and the head judge over there.
Huh.
He's still got a couple of reps to go.
Yeah, and Tanner's already in the second set of 10 kettlebell snatches.
Johnny Sage continuing to work there on the right side of the screen.
One more rep left for Johnny Sage.
And we'll see Rios here really at the top part of that pole. A big effort to get up there. Sage is going to go for his final one, and he's in a similar boat here. It's like about 7:55 for Sage, so that's pretty close to Hartman's split time.
And Sage is moving these kettlebells really fast. I like that.
Yeah, honestly, better than we've seen from anyone else. Hartman, for example, was struggling with those first couple reps to find that rhythm. Here we have Tanner Stahl finishing up, and he's going to head to the ski erg at about the 8:20 mark or so.
Looks like Jose Rios just got a big, costly no rep on his last legless rope climb. Hate to see that.
Yeah, both he and Jacob Stolar are shaking out the arms and hanging out by the ropes. We know that it can happen.
Yeah. Yeah, and let's see if he can regroup and shake things off and try and hit that last rep clean.
Sage with 10 snatches done. As we said, looking very good. He's going to get his last 10 going here. And Tanner Stahl, nothing but desire left on the ski erg at this point.
Yeah.
Let's see if Sage can get this last rep.
Jose Rios.
Rios, excuse me.
Moves on to his kettlebells.
Yeah, and that looked a lot better.
Yeah.
I'm not sure what changed from the previous one, but that one looked how you'd want him to be. Stolar back up here, and he's got that full body commitment on every one of these pulls.
Is that kind of the Pacelli variation you were talking about?
Yeah, that was 2013 at the games.
When they first introduced the legless rope climb.
Yep. Sage finishes up the snatches. He's going to go join Tanner Stahl on the ski erg. But split time-wise, well behind him here.
Yeah, Tanner's really pushing now, speeding up that cycle rate on those ski pulls. Looks like he has only 5 cals left to go.
We're just passing the 10-minute mark here. 10:50 was the split from Hartman. So Stahl in position to set the new time to beat.
Good performance by Tanner there.
Yeah, you called it. You were looking for him to do something here. 10:09 unofficially, best
Stolar.
time through 2 heats. Oof.
I don't know if that was a rep or not. Couldn't tell.
I don't know, but
Jose Rios also moving on to the ski erg. See if Johnny Sage can get under Connor Hartman's time. Looks like it'll be pretty close. Maybe not. I think Connor will have that locked up for now.
yeah, Hartman's time is about to pass. So nice start for him here relative to the first 2 heats, and then it's 2 minutes and 10 seconds till Metcalf's time. So Sage will likely be the 3rd fastest finisher here. And Jose Rios was fastest off the ski erg on the first round, so we'll see if he's got something left in the tank for a big push here at the end.
Jose Rios with that mouthpiece hanging out of his mouth. I wonder if what the thinking is behind that, but maybe it's just a comfort thing or style points.
Sage has gone into maximum reps per minute mode here. Hand up from his judge. $11:37 unofficial for him. And Stolar had indeed finished up on the rope, so he's into the last 10 double kettlebell snatches there. And those snatches, I mean, we saw Sage make them look really easy, but they definitely feel different coming off that rope than they did prior to it.
Yeah, once your grip and lats go from the rope climbs, it's a lot harder to yank those kettlebells up there.
About 2.5 minutes to the time cap. Stolar slams the kettlebells to the ground, and he's got 40 calories to ski and just under 2.5 minutes to get it done.
I think he can do it. Just got to push the pace a little bit.
Yep.
Jose Rios finishing up here.
Rios going to step across at about 12:55, only 5 seconds ahead of Maddox Metcalf. Probably doesn't even know that, but nice to get in just ahead of one of your competitors from a different heat.
Yeah, something it's hard for me to keep track of all the times when I compete from previous heats. I usually just kind of hear the top 1 or 2 times and then maybe try and shoot for that. Hopefully it's a workout that suits me and go for the top time. But yeah, it's just unknown into where the other athletes will slip into what positions if where you finish, right? So
yeah, and I mean, in your heat, when you identify like these are the 1 or 2 guys that are kind of in the same group as me, you can play that situational awareness card, try to pick off 1 or 2 of them late. But doing it against people from other heats is also, there's nothing guaranteed. Like there could have been a miscommunication, there could be a review or an appeal. So I don't think it'd be nice to know, but a lot of times you don't actually know anyway.
yeah, that's true.
Final minute here for Stolar as he tries to get in underneath the time cap.
He's really got to grit his teeth here and speed up that cycle rate. Use that core to try and finish up these calories.
How big of a factor is the core on the ski erg?
I think for me, I feel it when I'm in a dead sprint at the end of a workout. That's what I feel the most. So maybe for other people might feel their lats. I definitely feel my lats, but also core.
It looks like Stolar is going to get it done. 14:40 across the line. So all 4 men in heat number 2 will finish icebreakers under the time cap. Nobody faster so far than Tanner Stahl, 10:09. Third heat coming up next.
Where is Spencer?
Less than 1 minute to the start of heat number 3 for the elite men. Middle workout of the day on the final day of competition here at the Mode Classic. Lane 1 will be closest to us. That's going to be Johnny Stevens, Cam Gray in lane 2, Hans Kohlenbrander in 3, Isaac Say in 4, and Anton Foss. After the blitzkrieg on commitment issues this morning, round out the heat in lane number 5. We talked about this heat in particular earlier today to see how these 6-foot-plus guys would do at the barbell. In general, if you're over 6 feet tall, you probably also have bigger hands, bigger pull, higher jump. Legless rope climbs usually suit tall athletes well.
Yeah, I would agree. Let's see how Cam and Hans can hit those climbs.
Even Jonathan Stevens is a bigger guy, so we could see a pretty competitive and fast heat here. I mentioned that Anton Foss had a good performance earlier, got the win on the Olympic lifting squatting workout. Hans Kohlenbrander had a 6th place finish. Cam Gray 8th, not too bad either. They've both pushed up a little bit on the leaderboard. Kohlenbrander currently sitting 6th overall, Foss 5th overall, and Cam Gray 8th. So all those guys might feel like they're still sort of in the mix. And this might be an opportunity for them to do something about it. The workout is called Icebreaker. It's presented by Ice Age Meals. How good's that food been this weekend? Saving me.
Fantastic. Great breakfast burritos.
40 cal ski for the men, 20 double kettlebell snatches, 53 pounds on each of those. 10 legless rope climbs in the middle, as we talked about, the crux of this workout. And we might see some pretty fast paces on those here. Then they'll work their way back through the snatches and the ski erg again. 15 minutes to get it done. So far, everyone except for one man has beat the time cap. So we expect most of these guys to be able to do that, but some of them possibly going underneath that 10-minute mark. 10:09 from Tanner Stahl is the current fastest time.
Looks like Hans Kohlenbrander first to advance to those kettlebells.
Yeah, Hans looks hungry to me. I mean, he was in good spirits to start the competition. I think he felt like he was in the mix after yesterday. As you mentioned, a good finish this morning. He's tied with Foss on 71 points. Foss has the tiebreak, obviously, thanks to the event win. Nicky Rogers, who's in 4th overall, is only 2 points ahead of him. And then it's a little bit of a jump, 6 points more to the podium spots. But, you know, Hans is the type of guy that might be able to have a top 3 finish. Who knows, even win this thing. And if he does that, a lot can change quickly on the leaderboard. Some of those guys in the top positions are not that big, not that tall. They might be looking more forward to that last workout, but Hans isn't going to be thinking about that right now. He's just going to be worrying about taking care of business and snagging as many points as possible here on Icebreaker.
Wow, and it looks like Hans is going to do 2 quick sets of 10 for those first set 20 reps on the kettlebell snatches.
Yeah, and that's going to put him like a full 20 reps ahead of Cam Gray, who was very slow on that ski erg. I'm curious to see if, we mentioned that Cam is a very methodical and cerebral athlete. I'm curious to see how this strategy plays out for him as he gets to those legless rope climbs. Hans shaking out the arms. He's going to take a little bit of time after those snatches before starting on his first legless rope climb, but I'm more interested in the cadence between reps here. Stevens, Isaac Say, Foss, and now Cam Gray all have the kettlebells into that second section. Kohlenbrander, one legless rope climb done at this point.
Yeah.
And a big break
He's way
between
ahead.
1 and 2, though.
Yeah, about 20 seconds. Han's already 2 reps in on the climbs before anyone else has gotten to the rope.
And he's got 3 minutes from now until Tanner Stahl's split time. And again, if he can keep this pace up, you know, he'll be a little bit ahead of that. It looks like Cam Gray, despite being slow on the ski erg, is going to make up ground against the rest of the heat, minus Hans Kohlenbrander on those snatches already. He and Steven, well, and as I say that, Stevens finishes the snatches after him, but gets on the rope immediately. I kind of like that. Like, I mean, Cam Gray basically took a break to chalk, which,
Yeah.
you got to have a good grip to do the legless rope climb, but I like that Stevens going out there, getting 1 rep in the bank, and then maybe going for some chalk. It's like you talked about free transitions yesterday. It's almost like you can just bank a rep real quickly before you have to think about the pacing strategy of the rest of the 9. All 5 men onto the legless rope climbs now. And as we've seen in previous heats, there'll be a lot of different ways to do this. And we haven't seen this too much yet, but Cam Gray with those alternating leg kicks, and he's getting up there in like 3.5 pulls. This is what I was waiting to see from the big man from Australia.
4 pulls for Hans Kohlenbrander.
And
4 pulls for Cam Gray.
And watch the time under tension for Cam Gray. I mean, it is like from the time he leaves the ground to gets back down, it's maybe 2 seconds.
I think he jumps very high on each rep. 3 pulls.
Yeah, and not a lot of time between reps. I mean, he may end up coming off this rope dead level with Hans at this point. We talked about it earlier that you don't have to kill yourself on those first 60 reps if you can crush these middle 10.
Yeah, like I said, minimizing the amount of pulls you have to take to go to the top of the rope is really helpful because it's just less time under tension, like you said. And
man, nothing's changed from rep 1 to rep whatever he's on now for Cam Gray. I think he's only got 2 to go.
I like how Cam Gray is reaching really high with that last pull, just barely touching that red tape.
That should be rep. It was either 8 or 9.
I think he has maybe 2 more reps to go from here.
I think Hans is also with 2 reps to go and 6:20 on the clock. So Tanner Stahl's split time of 6:37 is going to be right in the mix as well.
Cam Gray made up so much time after last off the ski erg, sets of 5 on the kettlebells, and now rep for rep with Hans Kohlenbrander.
Yeah, I think that he's going to be just behind Tanner's split. It looks like 6:39 touching for the last time, but Cam Gray immediately to the kettlebells here. And, I mean, this is just someone who understands this workout. I mean, he made up minutes compared to Hans on this rope climbs. Kohlenbrander 1 to go. Stevens and Foss also with a hand up. But Cam Gray,
10 reps in already on those kettlebell snatches, opting for 2 sets of 5.
he was 20 reps behind Kohlenbrander, and now he's 10 reps ahead.
Wow. Yeah, and Tanner Stahl was just over 10 minutes in this workout. Cam Gray can finish this set of kettlebell snatches and really pull on that ski erg. He might have a chance, but he's going to have to go 15 plus 100 cal per hour on that ski.
Last set of snatches coming up here. So I can't quite get it in the frame there, but Cam Gray at the 8:20 mark is going to be heading to that ski erg. Let's see what kind of paces he gets this thing going at. He's got about 1 minute and 50 seconds to Tanner's time. Stevens has finished up his legless rope climbs about the 8:40 mark, which is still a very respectable split. Cam Gray glancing over at the clock. Isaac Say on this rope climb.
Wow, and it's just fascinating to see Cam's ski erg technique kind of shifting from those long, slow pulls at the beginning, trying to conserve his lats and grip, and now to this just fast bent arm pulls, get that cal per hour ramped up.
Yeah, I mean, everything from a strategy perspective on this workout seems to be dialed in for Cam Gray.
Really knows his body, really knows different techniques on each movement. I like to see that.
That's what he's known for on Instagram, actually. Posting maybe 3 or 4 different styles to do a variety of different workouts. He'll test them out, see how many reps he can get per minute, trying different things. So if you're interested in seeing some of that from a guy who's practicing it regularly, Cam Gray, check him out. It's getting close here. Hand is up. We're within 10 seconds of Tanner Stahl's time.
Wow.
Maybe last calorie here, and Cam Gray is going to get it done. 10:03 across the line, should be about 6 seconds faster than Stahl, and I would have to say masterclass execution on icebreakers for Cam Gray.
I absolutely agree with that.
Kohlenberger on the ski erg. He's about to have some company from Stevens, and you see Isaac Say there into his second set. Foss is also off the rope climbs. 4.5 minutes till the time cap, so likely to get all the guys across. Foss is going to have to push it, though. Tanner Stahl's time has come in. Connor Hartman, his time is about to pass 10:50 in that first heat, and it's looking better and better as these heats wear on. Foss done with 10 reps of the kettlebell snatches, so he'll get 10 to go before his ski effort. He's about 5 reps behind Isaac Say. Hans has a hand up in the middle of the floor. 11:37 for Johnny Sage is the time he's trying to beat, and it looks like he's going to do that. 11:18 for Hans Kohlenberger. Isaac Say makes his way to the ski erg, about 11:40 there. So he'll have plenty of time to get it done, but he's got some times to try to chase down. Stevens likely to be in the neighborhood of Rios and Metcalf. Foss on his last set of snatches. He'll have just under 3 minutes to work on the ski, which also should be plenty of time to finish.
Yeah, it looks like all 3 of these guys remaining will finish their ski erg.
Stevens with a hand up for his judge. He's going to get across about 12:16, so that'll be actually considerably ahead of Rios and Metcalf, about 45 seconds ahead of those guys. The 7th fastest time we've seen through 3 heats. Isaac Say closest to us here, and likely also closest to finishing, having gotten there about 40 seconds ahead of Foss.
Yeah, I like to see Isaac Say really starting to quicken up those strokes and strokes per minute, ramping up, and he's going in deep into that pain cave to try and finish these calories here.
And Maddox Metcalf's time has just passed. You know, Maddox is at the bottom of the overall leaderboard, but obviously he's out here for different reasons than that. But these are some pretty impressive athletes, and he's going to beat them on a pretty tough workout here.
So far, we got Cam Gray, then Tanner Stahl, and then
Connor Hartman out of heat number one, man. Only 3 guys to go sub 11 minutes so far. Isaac Say, final rep or 2. Apologies for that. But we did have both Isaac Say and Anton Foss get in. Three heats down. Final heat for the elite men coming up next. Final heat of men out on the competition floor. These were the top men after yesterday. And 4 of the 5 of them still holding down the top 4 spots. Jace Peck right there in the purplish shirt in lane number 1. Jordan Bailey will be in lane 2. He's got the orange shorts on. Lane 3, middle of the floor, Josh Felix. He's got some pants on. He must have been listening to Tudor's broadcast earlier. He's continuing to be the overall leader. Bradley Alcock next to him, looking to rebound from a tough one this morning. I think this is more going to be in line of a good performance for him. And Nicky Rogers, where the opposite might be true. Great performance earlier today. He already told me he's looking forward to the final. This is the one where he has to do a little bit of damage control in terms of these workouts on the last 3. Felix with the overall lead. He's got a 14-point advantage over Bailey. 3 first-place finishes and a 3rd so far. And clearly the guy to beat in this field right now. Bailey's holding on to 3-point advantage over Jace Peck, who was the top qualifier coming in to this competition. Rogers is 6 points behind that. And Alcock at 43 years old still holding really strong. He's in 7th. He was 1 point behind Kohlenberger and Foss, and only 3 points behind Rogers. So he could bounce back up here potentially. Icebreakers is the workout. We've seen it 3 times already. 40 cal on the ski erg, 20 dual kettlebell hang snatch, 10 legless rope climb, 20 more snatch, 40 more cal ski, 15 minutes to get it done. All these guys should be able to finish it. Nobody's broken 10 minutes yet. Cam Gray, Bella Martin told us unofficially 10:02. Top time we've seen so far, Tanner Stahl 10:09, and Connor Hartman out of heat 1. The only other man under 11 minutes at 10:50. We'll see where these guys shake out, and if anyone, I don't think so, but if anyone can go sub 10 here.
I'm looking at Jordan Bailey here, and he's doing kind of a hybrid pull variation where He's doing 2 quick pulls and then kind of standing up. First saw that at Dubai one year when Brett Fikowski debuted that type of ski erg variation.
That's the first place you saw it. I remember seeing Chandler Smith do that at Granite Games one year, but those were some of the first 2 guys to do it. I've tried that out. For me, that works for short periods of time, but my heart rate does get up a little bit doing that compared to just consistent efforts with more, normal stroke per minute rate.
Yeah, it's interesting to see different athletes and how they choose to pull on the ski erg, and also starting the ski erg. I've seen athletes do hand over hand variation, or at least like a swimming kind of type of deal where they try and do that to get their cal per hour up, and then they move into a double hand pull down.
Sometimes I do that single arm ski as a warm up in the gym, but I don't know if I'm strong enough to do it in any relevant fashion. It looks like Jace Peck is setting the pace on this ski erg. He's not going to be too far ahead, but he should be the first one getting off. Bailey and Alcock also moving fairly well. As we know, coming first off the ski is almost completely irrelevant. We saw Cam Gray well behind his heat and surge past him on the legless rope climb, so that's where the focus of this workout is going to ultimately be.
Quick sets of 5 from Jordan Bailey and Jace Peck so far. I think that's probably the best course of action, especially on the first half of this workout.
Yeah.
Jordan Bailey with a walk transition straight into the next set of kettlebell snatches.
Yeah, Peck, and Alcock now into that final set. Felix is going to be right behind them, and Nicky Rogers a couple more to go before advancing his kettlebells. I think Jordan Bailey's the tallest guy in this heat at about 5'9", so nothing like we saw in the previous heats with those 6'2" and 6'3" guys. Doesn't mean that they can't do well, but definitely going to be a different experience on the rope. Jace Peck's going to be first to go here, and you can already see the number of pulls it's going to take him. And on the first rep, he's taking that pause before that last pull, which has increased the time under tension and the grip fatigue. Looks like Bailey's going to maintain the second spot, and Alcock and Felix right behind him.
Looks like Jace Peck is doing about 6 to 7 pulls per climb, and like you said, that increases the stress on your grip, and we'll see. He might take a little bit more time between reps, but he's still the leader so far.
I've been talking about Jordan Bailey and all the competition experience he had, only 25 years old, but watch his descent on these rope climbs. I mean, he's not really using his legs at all. He's dropping down, grabbing on before coming to the ground, and for 1 or 2 reps, okay, but for 10 reps, that's just a little bit extra grip fatigue that I don't know that you want to have.
Yeah, I mean, he's kind of doing. I remember watching Rich Froning do that at one of the old school invitationals when they had Team USA versus the world or whatever, and he kind of debuted that method where the idea is to clamp your thighs onto the rope and kind of slow that descent through friction. As long as you can do that, maybe you'll have less time under tension on your grip, but we'll see how that plays out for him.
Nicky Rogers in that far lane up on the rope climb, and not the smoothest first rep, and he does use his legs to come down, but he's still hanging onto the rope for a couple extra seconds. I mean, his descent alone is taking about as much time as it took Cam Gray to go up and down.
Wow.
And Nicky did say, I mean, he said that these 10 reps were going to be the most difficult part of this competition for him. So just got to find a way. Hands up for the top 3 guys. We haven't talked about Bradley Alcock, but very smooth here.
Yeah, he's really doing some fast hand over hand cycling up that rope.
I think of the men in this heat, you'll see another rep here. He's probably the most efficient one up and down.
Yeah, maybe the quickest out of all these guys.
I was talking to him this morning, and he said He just said he's happy to be out here, grateful to be able to do this. He goes, but man, I could be some of these guys' dads. Yours included, Tudor.
Yeah.
Peck and Felix both going back up the rope. A lot of kicking of the legs for Josh Felix.
Yeah, I mean, an effort to try and get those hands as high as possible on each pull. It's just, that leg cycle method. We saw Cam Gray do that with great success, but he was also taking huge strides up that rope. So once you get to that hand over hand, like where you barely get 2 inches above the last hand, it's just really hard to do anything else.
And Alcock, I'm curious to watch this next rep and see if it's like the previous one. He goes up about 90% of the way, stops, and then he's going to use his whole body weight to lunge for that reach. This is another technique that is not new. We've seen people do this before. It's just another different way to get it done.
Looks like Jordan Bailey barely got that rep. Just hanging on for dear life on that rope.
Well, and he's getting into those last 2 or 3 reps, and that's where that little extra grip fatigue of not using the legs at all on any of these descents, we're going to see if it ends up being costly or not, but I believe that that's Alcock's last rep. So Bradley Alcock makes the move on the rope climbs. He comes off at the 7:16 mark. That's about 45 seconds behind the pace of Stahl and Gray, but other than that, it's on par with Hartman and a couple of the other guys that we saw. So likely that we're going to see the top 2 or 3 times not coming out of this final heat.
Yeah, now we have Jordan Bailey and Josh Felix moving over to their kettlebells. And, we've seen Josh Felix crush the first day of competition. And even the last event, he had a pretty solid finish. But if there's anything maybe he'll take below a top 5, it might be this one.
Could be this one. And Jace Pack, you see his judge with one hand in the air. He's up on the rope for the last time. He was the first one to the rope. Almost the entire heat has passed him. And do you see Bradley Alcock walk forward with the hands overhead there?
No.
Finishing the snatch and watched him forward in the overhead position carry. I mean, if you're driving it up into that overhead position, it's a stable position to move it, but I don't think I'd seen anyone do that yet.
Yeah, I think if you can use the momentum of the kettlebells to kind of drive your walk forward, I think could be a good idea, but
in competition is when you're going head-to-head with a rival into the last movement of a workout, and it's a machine.
Yeah. Machine sprints at the end are one of the hardest competition movements you can possibly do.
Alcock's going to finish up his snatches. Felix is actually going to be right behind him.
Wow.
Peck's moving forward into his last 10, so Bailey gives away a little bit on them. Both of those guys are now off the pace of Cam Gray, who's likely going to take the win here. And Tanner Stahl is going to finish second, which is going to do great things for him. And Connor Hartman, I think, is going to hold on for third. It's going to be probably Hans Kohlenbrander at 11:18 that these guys might have a chance to chase down. Bailey, last rep on the snatches. And he's about 40 seconds behind those guys.
Kind of takes a second there before starting his ski.
So it's official. Cam Gray, Tanner Stahl 1 and 2 out of heats 3 and 2. 30 seconds away from Hartman's time. But Cam Gray was in 8th place overall. Only going to gather 1 point, and a few of the guys ahead of him are going to take some big hits here, so he might be pushing back into that conversation.
I'd really love to see Bradley Alcock and Josh Felix's monitors right now, because I'm sure they're both hurting and they're both maybe looking out of the corner of their eye to their rival and trying to push forward to that heat win.
You want me to leave you here and go grab a camera and show you? Hands up for Alcock. Connor Hartman's going to take third on this one. Alcock is going to be close to Kohlenberger here. And he's going to get in just ahead of him, I believe.
I think Kohlenberg is
Wow.
going to slide just between Brad and Josh Felix.
Yeah. And for everyone else on the leaderboard, they'll take that one less point in Josh's pocket is good for them.
But I think Josh Felix overall is going to extend his lead.
Relative to the guys closest to him, yeah, because that's Jordan and Jace, who you see there, are still on the ski erg. So I think it'll be his worst finish of the weekend, but it's exactly what Josh Felix needed to do. And we talked about Alcock wanting to rebound after the barbell this morning. He certainly did that. Wins his heat. Another top 5 finish for him. Another top 3 finish for him. His third of the weekend.
Yeah, besides the barbell workouts, it seems like Bradley Alcock's overall CrossFit repertoire is very well established.
Wow. Jordan Bailey got in about 12:16, which is the exact time I had written down for Jonathan Stevens. So that's going to come down to a couple seconds. Peck was about 10 seconds behind them, so he should be just solidly in a position there about 30 seconds ahead of Jose Rios' time.
Yeah, and we have the sole athlete still working on this field in this heat. Nikki Rogers still on that rope. I mean, honestly, I've been in this position before where in a workout at a semifinal they had legless rope climbs and I had a no rep and I was left looking up at the rope and trying to catch up to the athletes ahead of me in that heat. And yeah, I mean, it's just something you got to keep pushing yourself to try and chalk up and get that next rep, but it's a little bit, tough sometimes.
And these are, there's a couple movements in this sport, especially a legless rope climb, a strict deficit handstand push-up. Like, you can't really will yourself to do it. If the muscular fatigue has been reached, then you have to give yourself the rest required to have a chance.
Yeah, and you can't be too angry at yourself either. You gave it your best shot, and it's just your muscles giving out. It's just something you can take into training.
And he's going to come up about 1 pull short on that rep there. We have just over a minute to go. So Nicky's going to take a hit here. He did say that he feels like he has a chance to win the final, so hopefully he's able to accept this one, put it behind him, and move on, because ultimately, whether you do great or whether you do poorly on a workout, that's the only thing you can do when you still have another one to get after.
Yeah, as he should. He should just accept it, move on to the next, and use this film to study for his training and, just keep working on pulling variations in general, legless rope climbs and metcons, and I'm sure he'll get a lot better at them.
Yeah, Nicky's a young athlete. He's been competing a bit, so he has been gathering that data, and he knew that this was going to be a tough one for him, but probably also motivated, like you said, to go back and put in the work that's required to make those small improvements. Well, that's going to do it for Icebreakers, event number 5 here at the Mode Classic for the Elite Men. Very quick turnaround, just change. Elite Women will be taking on Icebreakers after this.
That was good. This is going to be
This heat.
Heat 1 for the elite women on the competition floor here at Mode Classic 2026. Lane 1 closest to us, Sophia Natal. Lane 2, Evelyn Huff. Britt Rychek is in 3. Rachel Rains in lane 4. It's their version of icebreakers. 30 cal ski for the women. 20 dual kettlebell hang snatch, 35 pounds per kettlebell. 10 legless rope climb to a 13-foot target as opposed to the 15-foot target the men had. 20 snatches and 30 cals on the sit out. And I believe all but 2 of the men. I think the women are going to have a bit of a struggle with the 10 legless rope climbs, but all of them have the same task at hand. So the main objective is going to be no misses on those, and then take it from there in terms of where you end up when it comes to a finish. Evelyn Huff out of this heat had a decent workout this morning, 8th place on commitment issues, the barbell cycling challenge. But totally different demand here. And we're going to see who's got the legless rope climb capacity to get this one done. Hand up for Huff. She's in the blue pants. Rychik in the pink pants as well. And I think that even if they're light, sets of 5 is going to be perfectly fine here for these ladies. I've been fortunate enough to have a bunch of friends in the booth. We got Bradley Alcock here, fresh off of I would say a pretty good performance on that last one.
Yeah, I'd say so. It was a heat win, but remember, I'm 43 and these guys are 20, so just trying to hang on.
Yeah, and I mean, you sent it on that ski.
I did.
And it paid off. I mean, Josh wasn't too far behind, and also Hans from the previous heat was about 10 seconds behind you. So
Yeah, and I was messing around with Josh earlier, and I was like, you came out and you beat me on the other 2 workouts to give me a 2nd place. I was like, I got to get you on one of these. Today was the one. Man,
I mean, going 3 for 3 yesterday, I didn't see that coming from anyone in this field.
No, I didn't either. But that guy's a stud. I mean, these guys all are. I've said it a million times, I'm so blessed to just be on this floor with these athletes, and I think it's a great test to lead into the Open, and the goal is the games again, so that's where I'm at.
Yeah, I asked you this morning if you could find time. Obviously, it's a busy competition weekend to come by here and just give your perspective on what James has created here at the first version of the Mode Classic for a huge range of athletes. You mentioned that you're 43. We've got Maddox, who's 16, other girls that are 18, 19, 20, and everything in between. So having, been around for a while, what are you seeing this weekend?
Well, I've done a lot of events over 13 years in CrossFit, from the smallest local ones up to the games several times, and I am very impressed with the timelines, the setup, the workouts. I mean, these are all a good test. Like, obviously, I want them all to be my favor, but I remember on that little sheet we had at dinner time, it was like, what's the one you're looking forward to? And it was the commitment issues, which was my hardest one, and the snatch and the clean jerk, because if I'm constantly looking into ways to be better, I'm just going to only excel in the sport. And being around these kind of athletes and having James put this on as a good friend of mine, it's just, I love to be a part of it and everything we can for the community.
Yeah, we were talking during that workout. Actually, Britt Rychek here in the pink pants, I think PR'd her snatch during that workout.
That's awesome.
And then hit 3 of them.
That's so amazing.
And we said, like, this is probably going to be her worst workout on paper in terms of finish, but it might be her best moment of the whole weekend.
Totally. I was similar. That 205 snatch is 90% of my 1 rep, and I did 15. So it just goes to show, if you just stick with the sport, you're going to see gains.
We do have all the women working on the legless rope climbs here. Something that I found interesting when James first sent me the programming. I mean, you're used to seeing scaled versions of a legless rope climb, a deficit handstand push-up, ring muscle-up volume for women. They have the same number of reps. It's the height that he changed, and I'm not sure how often I've seen that before.
I haven't either, but I like it. If you're not going to push that metric, if you're not going to keep pushing to strive, you're never going to get to that next level. And I love that he put that in there. I also love that he put the sumo deadlift high pulls. You don't see that in competitions, and to see that pop up, it was a new challenge. And you know, I love being stretched. You know, flexing the glass, as you would say.
I'm glad you brought up the sumo deadlift high pull. You said you've been doing this for 13 years. This is also my 13th year of being in the CrossFit world, and I don't see many top athletes posting sumo deadlift high pulls in any capacity on Instagram. James posts them sometimes. Matt Torres is programming them for him in his programming. And I try to have a wide range of things that I do in my own training, and I never remember to put those in. I can't remember a competition in the last 5 years at least that's had those.
Me neither.
Not sure if any of the women are into the final set here, but we do have a 15-minute time cap, and we're not even at the halfway mark. You know, a legless rope climb, I think by far the most important thing here is to not miss a rep. Mm-hmm. Take whatever rest you need to make sure you can get the next one.
And even being good at legless, multiple conversations in the back were, you know, pace the ski, be smart. I mean, I did 5s. Like if you do a workout where things are broken up, I could do 20 snatches. That's not the issue. But you know, when you get 5, 6 legless rope climbs in, even for us, it started to really thin out the pack.
I'm sure you did not have a chance to watch Cam Gray on this one.
Mm-mm.
He was in the heat before you. He's like 6'3".
Mm-hmm.
Last off the ski. Casual, sets of 5 on the, and Hans Kohlenberger, who's only an inch shorter than him.
Yeah.
First off the ski, first through the snatches. Cam was 20 reps behind him on the first half of the workout, and by the time Hans finished up the rope climbs, Cam was 10 reps ahead of him.
Yep.
He was spending about 2.5 seconds on the rope between his ascent and descent on every rep.
That's amazing. The kind of capacity to do that for 10 straight, too. Good for him. And he's a good guy. First time I met him, but such a good guy. Very, open, talkative, giving pointers. So I really like him. I love all the athletes. They're all super nice. Ooh.
So sorry.
That's scary.
Yeah. Sophie, I was going to say there, she was very, it was basically hand to hand.
Yeah.
You know, you're right at the limit there, and she came down the rope. So apologies for the loud noise into the mic.
That's where we might need the crash pads.
Britt Rychek, you see she's keeping the elbows very high. Eight and a half minutes gone out of the 15-minute time cap for the women. All of them still working on these legless rope climbs.
Oh, you coach? Oh, gotcha. She kind of reminds me of, what's that Mayhem girl?
Evelyn Huff in the blue pants.
Maddie Sturt. Yeah, that girl in the pink pants right there. I've been all weekend I've been that looks like Maddie Sturt.
Yeah, she does have some similarities.
Yeah. She's killing those rope climbs.
Yeah, I was just saying, she's keeping the arms bent and everything really high and tight, whereas we see with some of the others when you start to lose that grip, that the arms lengthen, your body weight is pulling you down the opposite direction that you want to be going. She's the one I was saying PR'd her snatch today.
Oh, that's a girl? Okay.
She was a last-minute backfill into this division on Monday. James has been coaching her for about a year and change.
Mm-hmm.
But, you just never know. Legless rope climb's clearly something that she feels good with, and she's, I think, got 1 rep to go after she gets this one.
Yeah. Do you remember back in the day when they would send 50 to regionals, and Cody Anderson barely made it, and then he made it out of regionals to the games? Same thing. You get that backfill. You never know how. And performing on stage is so much different than online.
Rachel Rains, not sure if that was a rep or not. She was very close, but the grip is going for some of these ladies.
Oh, we got one with 5 left. Right here on the end.
That's Sophia. I believe Rychek in the pink is on her final rep. Huff has 4 to go, but she jumps up and comes immediately off the rope. She failed her previous rep.
Yeah, that's tough.
Yeah, this is tough. You got 4.5 minutes till the time cap. Rychek is going to finish them up here. And this is what we were talking about, is like you might need to take 1 or 2 minutes rest just to be able to get one more rep.
Mm-hmm.
It's so difficult to do. We're so used to this sport where it's like push yourself to the limit, but the limit in a muscular fatiguing workout is totally different than I don't want to do this, but I can.
Right. Burpees or a rower or, yeah.
Or ski erg.
Or skier.
So
Okay.
Britt Rychek onto the snatches here, and at this point, the workout totally changes. You know,
100%.
now we're into the what we were just talking about, where it's how bad do you want it,
Yep.
as opposed to how do I get through it.
Yeah. I think she needs to get back on those kettlebells.
Yeah, it's 10 reps here, and then you're on the ski erg, and you know everyone can go dark and push it on those last 30. It's only 30 cows for the women.
Yeah.
Big break between sets of 10. We got 3.5 minutes to the time cap.
And I can attest those last 10 did not feel very good.
It was crazy to see some of the guys coming off the rope, and the first couple of reps just looking kind of out of control.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe the grip, you know, surprising them with the kettlebells, but you got to find a way, because, like I said, if you can get to that ski erg, then it's daylight ahead.
Oh, yeah. For me, it was biceps. Like, being able to, like, pull that up is why I got a little funky on my first few.
Rychek finishes him up. She's going to have just under 3 minutes to get 30 cows done, which should not be an issue here. And she'll be the benchmark after heat number 1.
It's so awesome.
We'll keep our eyes on the rope as some of the other ladies go to try that out. But Britt Rychek, all on her own here. And, you know, you were in a situation like Josh was coming up behind you.
Mm-hmm.
That can be motivating. It can also be scary because, you know, it's like I'm going to give it everything I got. I know he is too. I hope it's enough. She's in a different situation. There's nobody around. This is a really, like, mental gut check time for her.
Yeah, but I think I would compare this to the engine room yesterday for myself. I was out front, won my heat, but there's 3 other heats. It's like, where do they land? How hard do I need to go? So that was like the new mental piece, was to push that of who else can I beat? Who else can I beat? Try to rack up those points as best as possible.
Rychek chipping away on the ski. She's been on it for about a minute so far. No one else climbing on the rope right now. Big breaks for the rest of the women in this heat. Trying to maybe just squeeze out 1 or 2 more reps here. You never know, like you said, how those last heats are going to go. And on the rope climbs, you know, 1 rep could be a separator.
Huge separator. I mean, they've got time. Even if they've rested another 45 seconds to a minute, just got 1 more.
Got about 1:15 to the time cap here. Again, this is the first of 4 heats for the elite women. Icebreakers is the workout. It's 5th of 6th workouts on the weekend.
Come on. You're almost there. Got it. Nice.
Good rep for Evelyn Huff and Rachel Rains. Hand up for Britt Rychek. Final minute here. She's going to be the first and only finisher in the heat. We call it 14:09 unofficially, so great way to rebound. I mean, she PR'd her snatch this morning. Can hardly call it a rebound.
Yeah.
I would say it's a pretty good day for Britt Rychek.
Yep. And that's why I have to look at events like these too, especially if you're trying to make it to the games or semifinals. Like, these are good tests, and don't get too caught up in, you know, the actual event itself, but really what can you take out of it so that you can improve throughout the CrossFit Games season.
It's going to be the last real opportunity for these ladies on the rope to try to get a rep. Looks like Evelyn's going to come up short on that one. Sophia, the grip's just totally gone. And so that's going to do it for heat number 1. Britt Rychek, 14:09. First and only finisher there. 1 heat down, 3 to go for the elite women on Icebreaker.
All right, well, I'm going to go and eat and recover.
Man, thank you for coming in here. Great to have you in the competition.
Cool, thanks, brother.
Thanks, Brad.
Bye.
That was awesome. Thank you.
Heat 2 for the elite women, getting set to take on Icebreakers. Britt Rychek, 14:09, only finisher from heat number 1. In lane 1, closest to us is Layla Von Berndt. Zoe Fiala next to her. Natalia Flores, middle of the floor. Hannah Dotson and Sarah Barkley working our way away from us here. It's the 5th of 6 events on the weekend. 30 cal ski, 20 dual kettlebell hang snatch, 10 legless rope climb, and then work your way back with 20 snatches and 30 cal ski. I've been fortunate enough to get another friend in the booth, Adam McAdams.
How's it going, Brian?
Going good for me. I was, bummed to see you had to pull out of the competition yesterday. You doing all right, though?
Yeah, I'm doing okay. Coming out before the floor, I had strained a IT band, and the load at the bottom was just stabbing. So we tried to do what we could, but that's all right, man. Now I get to be a spectator.
And a commentator.
Yeah, absolutely. Happy to be here. Man, so this first ski, it's not a defining moment, but you've kind of seen a race at the end of each one of these heats. So we'll see how the ski does for the girls, definitely for the guys, and put them in a spot at the end to either make or break them. But it is a rope climb workout at the end of the day.
Aside from coming out here to compete, do you have some other friends or athletes that you train or coach with that are in the fields at all?
Oh, absolutely. Trista Smith, man, I get to train with her pretty frequently throughout the week, and then if I get lucky, Justin will come down and we'll have some sessions with him, or get to go to do some training camps with him, so that's pretty awesome. But Hannah Dotson is one of those athletes that she's a grinder, man. She's going to go hard. She doesn't really have a limiter, right? So the governor, when other people pull back, that's when she kind of like sinks her teeth in, which is awesome. So we'll see how she does on this one. But at the end of the day, we'll see whose grips can hang on to the ropes for the longest. It's been a close first two, just trying to get through the ropes for these girls.
Yeah, and it's definitely there's two different parts of this workout. Get through the rope climbs. Once you do that, game on.
Yeah, absolutely. And if you're confident on the ropes, man, you pace the first half out, to somewhere where your grip's not smoked, but knowing that at the back half, you really got to put the hammer down. You want to make sure that those ropes aren't the limiting factor for you in the middle of the workout.
All the hands up at about the same time for the women, so not going to be too much separation. It looks like Layla, Sarah, Hannah, they're all coming out about the same time to get set on these kettlebell snatches. We've seen a lot of different strategies on the snatches, sets of 5, sets of 10.
Not a bad pace on the row or on the ski either. These girls are coming out at like a 2:10 when the guys were just about 2:50 to 2 minutes even. So a good speed for the ladies. Looks like we have some breaks at 5.
Yeah, and I don't see any problem with that.
No, not at all. Not on this first half. Antea's moving her kettlebells up. She's 10 reps in.
She had a nice workout this morning. Took 6th place on commitment issues. She was 5th on the ring muscle-ups last night, which is kind of more what I'm looking at as an indicator that she may do well here. Obviously, there's some crossover from a muscle-up to a legless rope climb.
Absolutely. She's actually her gymnastics specialist, man. She crushes it. Semifinals, man, that's where she really her stride is in the gymnastics, and her body weight being a little bit smaller of an athlete, she can kind of move her body nice and well. But she is a grinder too, and she's I always call her a gym sleeper because she will come out and surprise you.
Gym sleeper, you're wearing the Gym Reaper shirt.
That's right.
Do you know Marissa Flowers, if I say that name?
Marissa Flowers, that sounds so familiar.
She's similar. She's like 4'11", and she has. If she doesn't have records, she's close to having records at a couple very specific gymnastics workouts, especially when it's like chest to bar pull-ups, handstand push-ups, toes to bar type stuff in semifinal levels. But she's out on the East Coast.
Yeah. Okay, that makes sense. Anybody that's confident to go into one of those gymnastic movements after a heavy set of anything, cleans, snatches, jump rope, man, that's where if they attack that thing right out of the gate, there's someone to watch out for.
There's so many different body movements that you see when you do these legless rope climbs, and Natea on that first rep with like the frog kip, which I haven't seen too much of yet. Some of the others are doing more that one leg at a time kip.
Yeah.
I think this is a movement where you kind of just got to mess around with it in the gym and see what works for you.
Yeah, 100%. Definitely time spent on the rope is huge. I mean, even if you're a little bit unconfident a couple months out, as long as you're getting enough touches on there and feeling what's right, they usually can come too as long as you plan it out and you're training correctly. I watched a couple guys in the last heat. Actually, the legs were kind of still, and
Did you see Tanner Stahl?
Yeah,
It's almost like he was a corpse.
It
from
was-
from the lats down.
it was insane. I was actually curious to see how his last 3 reps were going to go. I was kind of hoping that I'd see some leg swing out of him, but man, he stayed on it. He was at about a 20-second rope climb pace, which is super awesome. I took some splits on some of the guys earlier, and it was they would start off anywhere around like 15 to 20 seconds. I think the first rope climb took the longest, but then they were falling into that 30-second, 35-second range.
Yeah, he had ended up taking second on the workout overall. Only Cam Gray got him, and that was by like 6 seconds in a different heat. So
And Cam Gray, his rope climbs were just efficient, man. He had 4 pulls. He was at the top. His jump was good off the ground. He's a tall athlete.
yeah, nice rope climb here from Zoe Fiala. Young athlete. She's wearing actually a teenage CrossFit Games leggings there, so clearly has experience at a high level, but now starting to push and give herself an opportunity like Maddox.
Confidence for these guys, too, and just being composed, especially in a situation like this. I think a younger athlete might just want to go and hit the ground running, maybe burn it down, and then that last 5 or even last 6 is something that they have to really worry about. But they're doing a great job out there, especially at that young age.
Farthest lane away from us, Sarah Barkley with another good rep. She, that we got kind of the 3 women in the middle are pretty short. The 2 on the outside a little bit taller, but all of this heat seems to be pretty close right now.
Yeah, absolutely. It's we're starting to see some struggle on that first. What is that, lane 1? Yeah, lane 1. Those early rope climbs, man, it's really taxing if you don't get a good jump and a long pull. So looks like that outside lane 5, she's moving really efficiently, really well. Getting some good touches on the rope. Nice job.
Yeah, and you got to see actually, there's no guarantee they're going to be doing these at the same time, but about 4 women were on the rope at once there. Sarah was the last one on the rope, and she came down at the same time or ahead of everyone else. So time under tension, definitely in her favor on these middle reps.
Exactly. I think something, too, to be noted is that the descent on these rope climbs, right? If you're taking a long time to kind of drop down off that rope, that's just more time you're spending with those forearms, man. And they already got taxed from those dumbbells or kettlebells. So
We were watching Jordan Bailey. He wasn't even using his legs at all coming down. Now, he was dropping, catching, and coming off, but you do that rep after rep after rep, it adds up.
absolutely.
And he ended up fading just a little bit at the end of the heat and maybe cost himself 1 or 2 positions. So he's a young guy, and that might be just a little area of refinement for him.
Oh, 100%. And I think once you guys, you think about, some of these athletes getting to that semifinal level or even a little bit further than that, or just having a really good run at some competitions, it's not necessarily moving the needle with your fitness, but how your execution goes over the whole weekend.
I think we're into the last rep or 2 for a couple athletes, and if I'm looking correctly, Hannah Dotson's actually made a move. You mentioned that she doesn't really have a governor in terms of she can push hard when she needs to, but legless rope climbs also seems to be a skill that she's got pretty good mastery of.
Yeah, absolutely. Her upper body pulling is pretty good, and here she goes. This is where I'm excited to see what happens. Hannah's going to sink her teeth in right now. Looks like Natea's about 1 rep out, and then we have the young gun with 2 left as well.
Yeah, and we talked about the 2 parts to this one. The rope climbs are in the rearview mirror, and now it's go time for Hannah Dodson.
Yeah, absolutely. And look at her, great reps, good lockout, hips are clearing. She looks good.
Well, and we got a couple judges in the way, but her time per rep is very small.
Yes.
So she's minimizing, again, the time under tension for the grip. She's going to take some breaks on these. One of them is going to be a force break, basically. But once she picks them up, she's getting through her set very, very efficiently.
Absolutely. And that force break, it kind of puts you in a position to kind of have an idea of what you want to do when you come out of the gate. That 5 and 5 rep scheme has looked to be pretty promising until you get in a race at the end. Then you guys got some people that are holding on. All right, Natea's moving her kettlebells up. Looks like Hannah's got about a 2 rep lead on her.
Yeah, this could be a bit of a battle here at the end. And we were talking earlier with Tudor in here, like when there's a machine looming as the last movement in a workout and you're neck and neck with someone, on the one hand, from the leaderboard perspective, it can be good because you guys are going to push each other.
Absolutely.
But from the mental side, it's like, oh man, I have to send this now.
Absolutely. All right, looks like Hannah made it to the ski about 9:15. She's starting her work with Natea having 5 reps left right behind her. We still got some people on the rope climb, so it looks like 1 left, but a good run for her. I think the blessing behind a machine is that you don't really have to pull back. You're going to just hit it as hard as you can, and the cool thing about that is in training, that's where you really let the wheels fall off, right? You go as hard as you can. The goal would be to press it until you get to that last 4 or 5 seconds, maybe even 10 seconds out, and you have to drop your pace because naturally your glycogen levels are dropping, right? So that would be a good paced workout. If you feel like you still have some left in the tank by the end, maybe you didn't kick early enough.
It's so difficult. Like, it's on the machines, you can send it so hard, and then a lot of times within 30 seconds of finishing, you have that question in your mind: could I have done more?
Yeah, and that's where you get to the elite, the pro level, where they know exactly where that spot is where they have to go. And not only that, they're very aware of where the people are behind them and where they're at on the leaderboard. So it really makes for a cool event when you got athletes that are a little bit more, their IQ is a little bit higher.
I'm sure Hannah has that high IQ coaching at Fort Vancouver like she does. She had about a 30-second advantage over Natea at getting to the ski erg. And a lot of times, when you got a machine, another thing that you'll do in a class is coaching and say, get on the machine and just get it moving.
That's
you
right.
can recover in that first 5 calories or so. She might have got to that point, then had the motivation of another athlete coming, and so the natural ramping up that you want to see could have even been escalated by the timing of when Natea got over there.
Absolutely, and actually her revolutions per minute looks like she's got speeded up, actually. So she was already going pretty hard, I think, to try to get that lead, but now she is really sinking her teeth in.
You see Zoe Fiala there as well.
One left for Hannah. Here we go, across the line. Looks like 11:18 for
That's
Dotson.
going to be nearly 3 minutes faster than Britt Rychek, and the fastest time we've seen through 2 heats for the women. So you kind of called it, and I think that Hannah had a great execution. She wasn't the first one to the rope climbs. She was the first one off, and she accelerated into the finish. That's a position you want to see someone after this workout.
Absolutely. She definitely left nothing on the floor. That's good. That's good work by Natea, too. It looks like she finished in the same minute, maybe like 11:40.
Had 11:44 when she walked across the line, and she didn't look like she was quite as spent at first, but she slowly made her way to her back as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Zoe's looking pretty strong as well. Still's got some cals on that ski.
Yeah, and she's got 2 minutes until Britt Rychek's time, so likely going to get inside of that. But as as we were talking about with Bradley, like 2 more heats to go, so it's go time. You got to send it here. Nothing left to lose.
Yeah, absolutely.
Sarah Barkley in the background, having finished up her rope climbs, is into her second set of kettlebell snatches as well. She's going to have a little different situation. If she's able to get through these, she's probably going to be racing the clock on that skier.
Yeah, absolutely. We got Layla as well. Layla's working on her kettlebells. Looks like they're really taxing. Hard lockout at the top, but she made it happen. She's onto the ski. I think this next heat after this is going to be exciting. It's going to be a Mayhem Classic, if I will, with Trissa Smith.
2 heats from now.
Oh, 2 heats.
This is still heat 2, yes.
Oh, absolutely. Oh, even better. Even better. We're going to get to see the floor burn down.
Well, we've seen it's when you saw the programming here, you kind of knew that for most of the athletes there were going to be some peaks and valleys.
Oh, absolutely.
He's put a good opportunity for athletes who have maybe some specialty skills to excel in one or the other. And in this second heat, the next heat that's coming up, that's what we've had, as opposed to the top heat where they're pretty much good at everything.
Yeah, Zoe crossed the line at 13:23.
Sarah Barkley there on lane number 5, farthest away from us, working on the ski erg. She's the one that we were saying is going to be right up against the clock. You said that 2:10 was kind of the fastest pace coming out, and of course they're holding back a little bit there. But now you're tired and you're sending it. So I think if you have similar splits on the first and second ski, that's not a bad thing.
Absolutely. And I think I'm very curious to see how the next 2 heats attack this workout at the beginning, just because the ski, if you saw for some of the men, they came out pretty hot just so that they can get a couple rope climbs in before the rest of the field got to them. And some people that paid off, and some people that was tough just on the back half to just finish out those last 3 rope climbs and then get back to a heavy grip on the double kettlebell.
I saw you talking to Hans a bit earlier.
Yeah.
He went for it.
He sure did.
He slowed down on the last 3 rope climbs. He still had, I think, a top 5 finish for the workout overall, but you could compare that with Cam Gray, who was very disciplined and attacked in the middle, and it paid off. I mean, they both had good finishes, but obviously Cam got the win, and Hans was about 5th.
Absolutely. You know what? And I think that's where the IQ comes in a little bit. I mean, Hans is a taller guy. He's got a little bit more leverage. Good rep. Good rep by Sarah Barkley. Who do we see? We see Layla finish at 14:45.
That's Sarah on the far
Oh,
side.
Sarah,
yeah, it's
apologize.
inverted from what we're seeing
Oh,
on
there
the
we
screen.
go. Sarah Barkley.
Yeah, Layla was back on the rope climbs. At the same time that Sarah crossed, Layla did get a rope climb off camera there.
All right.
So that's the second heat done. And new time to beat, Hannah Dotson, 11:18. Natea Flores, 11:44. Zoe also got in ahead of Britt Rychek, 13:25. So 5 finishers through 2 heats for the women. 2 more heats to go. We'll be back in a minute.
Yeah, absolutely. That was a good one.
Oh my gosh. It's so.
One more.
Dude, NorCal, I saw him. Oh yeah, dude, that's his background. That's his backyard. But we finished higher on the leaderboard. I'm going into the weekend. I'm feeling good. And then we went to Hawaii. We competed against each other at the Mana Games. He got me over there too. A lot of in it. The Mana Games in Hawaii. We went down there as well. And he's a tough kid. Like he is really tough. And that's the difference maker in competition. I think he's had a rough go in online qualifiers. There we go. It surprised me a little bit when I watched them in the strength event. A couple of these girls that I've seen, actually great lifters, were struggling out there in the back half of that, or even just getting all those snatches taken care of. Like, I think this is Nina. I've seen her compete a couple times, man. She's just an animal. She's really struggling. Carly, Emily's a good one. I get to train with Montana.
Oh, perfect.
I think their rope climbs are going to be. These are all a little taller, heavier athletes, so.
Something else. Elsie's, I'm curious to see how she does on this.
Yeah, she's over at Mayhem too, correct?
She lives in Ohio.
Oh, okay. Seen her hanging out with that crew earlier today, or earlier in the weekend. I was actually really excited for this event. They came out, I was like 10 leg lifts, like that's awesome.
Heat 3 of 4 out on the competition floor here for event number 5, Icebreakers at the Mode Classic. Lane 1 is closest to us. That's Lena Mantica, Carly Castura in the white top next to her, Emily White middle of the floor, Elsie Larson in the red sports bra, and Montana Powell farthest away from us rounds out the heat. We've seen it a few times already. 30 cals on the ski, 20 dual kettlebell hang snatch, 10 legless rope climbs, back down 20 snatches, and 30 cals on the ski. 15 minutes to get it done. We've had 5 women finish through the first 2 heats. Hannah Dotson, 11:18, the best time so far. Adam, you said you actually get to train with Montana sometimes. This is my first time to see her compete. She looked like she was happy with her finish this morning on the barbell workout.
Oh, absolutely. I think she's actually in the last month or two got a coach, Olympic lifting, and worked on a lot of just refining. She's a strong athlete, and she's not scared to step into the fire, but she definitely has some technical stuff that she's been working on, and honestly, it showed this morning. And I think her finishing off that, I think her win is every time she steps on the floor is just executing her ability and not letting the technical be the aspect that holds her back. So she's doing a really great job. She is one of those athletes that is going to bite down too, but we'll see how she does on the rope climbs. I think the rope climbs are something that she's a little bit newer too, being with a couple different coaches, but now she's at CrossFit Fort Vancouver and she's working really hard.
This heat has been a very kind of ups and downs sort of performances from a lot of the athletes, but a couple of them are actually sitting in really good positions. Emily White is in 4th place overall. Elsie Larson, 3 points behind her, is in 5th place overall. And Montana, as you said, 9th. Carly's in 8th. But I'm actually looking at Lena in this one. She's in 11th right now, but I think that if I was talking to someone yesterday, that this might be a workout where she can do some damage on the legless rope climbs relative to the women's division.
Off at 145. Wow, here we go. That is.
Well, that's Carly.
Carly's.
Carly's being coached by Sean Sweeney.
Yes.
And he told me that her engine and like capacity over time is something that's very rare that he's seen. But the high skill gymnastics is absolutely going to expose her here. She knows it, he knows it, but she's up for the challenge. So she'll get to the rope climbs just fine, and then she's going to be one of those athletes where take the breaks you need and get as many reps as you can, and if you happen to finish, then you can flex that engine on the way back.
Montana finishing 10, moving up first. She wasn't first off the ski, but she was the first to move those kettlebells. I'm excited to see Carly and Lena, see how they do. They struggled a little bit in that strength event this morning, but I think this is going to be an opportunity for them.
Emily White has had 3 top 6 finishes, including an event win. But I talked to her previously, and she said those 3 gymnastics movements were workouts, the muscle up, the rope climb, and the handstand push-ups to come. I haven't been able to train those that much, and they're the thing I'm not great at anyway. So these are more of managing herself rather than racing the field.
Yeah, absolutely. She looks smooth on her kettlebells. That's no problem. I think she knows she's getting ready for those rope climbs.
Elsie Larson's the one I'm kind of most curious about here. She's been improving her finish on every workout so far. She went from 13th to 6th to 5th to 2nd on the barbell cycling. She's excellent at barbell cycling, and we know that. The 6th place on the ring muscle up workout is very good, and she's sitting 5th. Emily's right ahead of her. I think she should be able to pass her by on this one. But if she wants to have any chance at the podium with the other 3 athletes coming up, she has to be in a different mindset than just kind of surviving.
Yeah, absolutely. And this will be that test.
All the girls get through the kettlebell no problem, as we would expect, and now we get to see for the first time most of them on the rope climb, and right away we see a variety of different techniques here.
Yeah. Looks like Montana got up there first, but not necessarily first down. All the girls got in there. They look pretty smooth on these first couple of reps. Lena's moving up that thing really nicely.
Yeah, she's closest to us there in the red and blue, and she's the one that somebody had told me she's got some pretty good skills on the legless rope, and she kind of has like a rock climber's build.
Absolutely. Yeah, big shoulders, big back.
And long limbs,
That's
which,
right.
Obviously for rock climbing, that's great with the reach, and then also for this, you can jump up and minimize the pulls, but she's not, she's actually taking short and strong pulls, but the time on the rope is relatively short, which is very good.
Coming off that rope fast is nice. She looks really confident and smooth. Some of these girls, you can tell once they're getting to those last 2 or 3 pulls, it's getting taxing already, and then we're 3 rope climbs in.
Yeah, and there's Carly in the white, and like we said, she was open about it. Sean was as well, that like this was going to be a challenge for her, but through the first couple reps, it's better than I was expecting based on what they said to me. So
yeah, absolutely. And that competition adrenaline is definitely something that plays a factor. I think anytime you get on a workout that you've tested or even, chunked up and took a couple intervals of, you're always like, oh man, I wish I could go a little faster. And usually on competition time you do. Elsie
Larson keeps her body in real tight here on these rope climbs and kind of gets her whole body weight to one side on every pull. I kind of like this. We'll get to see her go up here again in a second, and she's kind of like using that weight to help her up every pull on the rep, and she's actually had pretty quick turnover rep to rep as well. We're at about the 5:30 mark. Dodson has had the fastest split time off these rope climbs, which was just under 8 minutes. We're already into the back half, or the last 4 for both White, Larson, and Lena.
It looks like they're running, even if they're running at a 30-second, you're getting 4 every 2 minutes. So it looks like we're going to be done before that 8-minute mark.
Yeah, as a heat in general, I'm very impressed here. And those 3 girls in particular, I haven't seen a hand up for Montana yet, so I'm not sure. But at least those other 3 are pretty close to each other, which means that if they can maintain this and they get to those kettlebells, they can also drive each other forward because, all of them are going to want to put up a time that the last heat is a little bit intimidated by.
Absolutely, absolutely. I think that's the best thing about being in a race, too, and when you shift those on day 2, and you get some of these athletes that are pretty close to each other, it makes for a good race and a good push all the way through the event, which is what they need to stay or get up to the top or have that little move in the leaderboard that they need or want.
I believe that was rep 9 already for Elsie Larson. I think Lena Mantica may be on the rope for the final time, so she's going to take the lead out of the ropes, and that's about 6:40, so over a minute ahead.
Lena's got one.
Oh, she has one more.
Yeah,
okay.
One more. And so does Elsie. It looks like Elsie may have finished first, but they dropped down on the ground at the same time. They both approached kettlebells, and first rep is to be had at the same time. This is going to be a little bit of a race. This is awesome.
And that's what we were looking for, because now you can take off the restrictor plates. You got 20 snatches and 30 cals on the ski, and one heat to go, and really nothing to lose here.
Yeah, not at all. Elsie looked like she struggled a little bit at the beginning with those kettlebells just to get them locked out. Lena being a little bit longer of an athlete, she's going to have a little bit more pull on that lower back, and those shoulders are going to have to go a little bit further to get locked out. But for the most part, she looks like she's doing really well.
Carly Castor with another good rep, and
Yes.
I'm going to get mad at Sean Sweeney. He undersold me on her capacity on these rope climbs.
Hey, it sounds like he's underselling and over-delivering.
Can't be upset about that,
Not
honestly.
at all. Give your athlete a chance. I love it.
I mean, I think she's only got 3 left, and we're just at the halfway point for the workout overall. You know those last 50 reps, she can cruise through them.
Yeah, absolutely.
Emily White should be in the last couple reps as well. Montana, I don't see a judge's hand up, but I think she's into the last 3 or maybe also.
We'll see probably right about here. Short and sweet, hand over hand. You know the fatigue's starting to set in. Good rep on that last one, but it was close.
I believe this is a final rep for Emily White.
And Emily's down onto the kettlebells.
That's huge for her. I think she's going to be very happy with that. Lena Mantica has pulled ahead of Elsie Larson on the snatches. You saw her leave the screen there. We'll get to her on the ski erg in a minute. We're just going to stick with the rope climb, see if Carly can get another one here. She's in the white. Larson last snatch or 2, so she'll go to the ski erg.
Great call on Elsie. She's doing a good job. She's to the ski. Let's see what she can do. A little bit shorter of an athlete. Lena's a little bit taller, so I imagine she has the advantage. Not only did she get there first, but she has that long limbs that can get a little bit more out of that erg every time.
We're just approaching 9 minutes. It was 11:18 from Hannah Dotson, so that time's definitely going to fall, at least for Lena, likely for Elsie as well. Emily White has made her way through 10 snatches. And let's see here. Carly's lost the white shirt, but I think this is her final rep. If Carly Castura finishes these
Final
rope climbs,
rep.
man.
Here we go. Let's see
that
what
is
Carly can do.
Awesome. So potentially a couple different races here. Lena and Elsie on the ski erg. Carly's going to try her best to give Emily a run for her money, but this is also where Emily's going to make her money.
Absolutely. It looks like Emily's got 5 left. She's at that 9:40 mark currently. Looks like Montana's struggling a little bit on the rope. She's got about 4 reps left. This, I know, she was a little bit challenging for her, and I kind of think that she's playing it safe on like just making sure that there's no reps being had. And her goal is probably just to get through those rope climbs and bite off some on that kettlebell.
Emily White strips the belt and heads to the ski erg at the 10-minute mark. Lena Mantica is within a calorie or 2 of finishing.
Lena, unofficially 10:06.
And that is going to be the fastest time we've seen for the women, and within 3 seconds of the fastest time we saw for Cam Gray on the men's side. So that is
Very impressive.
I can't remember who told me to watch for her on this one, but thank you for the tip, because you were absolutely right. Lena Mantica crushed that.
Their DraftKings are in a good spot right now.
Elsie Larson about 20 seconds behind her, looked like 10:25, 10:26 getting across, and you know.
That was about the time that she got on the ski earlier as well. Lena was about 20 seconds ahead.
Sean's over here telling us that's huge for us. Little does he know we've been talking about him this whole time.
Cowboy Sean Sweeney's hyped right now. The only thing holding him back is the railing. And she is pushing. Carly's doing a great job. She's trying to make some ground up. She's not letting back at all. Eyes are down.
No, this is a full send for both women. It's what you want to see. We're just past the 11-minute mark, so You know, Dotson's time of 11:18 is getting closer and closer and looking better and better. Hand's about to go up for at least Emily White.
2 left for Emily. Good. Crosses the line unofficially at 11:23.
So that should be about 5 seconds behind Hannah. And that's really cool. Like, Hannah's got to weigh 30 or 40 pounds less than Emily White, and to finish within 5 seconds, it really speaks to the programming here.
Absolutely, absolutely. And Hannah is such a grinder that it's cool to see that she can, even with some of those taller athletes that weigh a little bit more, and can probably push a little bit higher on the ski. Carly across at 11:49.
And again, you're going to see about 5 seconds between Carly Casura and Natea Flores, 2 totally different body types,
100%.
both finishing at the same time. And I always love seeing that in this sport because there is no right body type for fitness.
Absolutely not, especially in CrossFit, man. We got so many different modalities that you're working with. You got the gymnastics, you got the strength, you got the running, we got machines. It's a free-for-all, man. 3 left for Montana. We're at that 12:20 mark.
And we have, like you said, just over 2.5 minutes to go. There's been plenty of women who haven't finished this and haven't finished the rope climb, so every rep that she can get here can still be a placement on the leaderboard. And this is about just trusting yourself, knowing when it's time to go, and making sure that when you make that decision, you're able to get it done.
And she's sitting in 9th place right now. She can just finish these rope climbs. I think she'll be probably holding down that ninth spot. Granted, that might not be enough to move up, but it doesn't put her back any further.
We'll see. Natea, Lena, and Hannah, the 3 behind her, all have done pretty well.
That's a close race, absolutely, but we'll see where we got.
It's been how the competition's been every workout. A little bit of a jockeying for position, whether it's at the top or in the middle. A lot of athletes with different opportunities. You know, we mentioned that she did well this morning, 7th place, 8th place on the back squats last night. She's actually been one of the most consistent athletes across. 7th to 11th is the range of finishes for her.
Yeah. And actually, this hasn't been the story in the past, man. She's an all-or-nothing athlete, man. When she first started working over at Fort Vancouver, man, it was like, hey, I'm going to go as hard as I possibly can. And she did some training with Carly Matthews. If you know Carly Matthews from the games in 2015, man, she won Murph. I think it was 15 or 16. Her attitude is just, I'm going to go fast to start. I'm going to be fast in the middle. I'm going to be fast at the end. And that's not for everybody.
Hey, if you can do it, you're probably going to win.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
Final minute here, and I think at this point, she's got to be just evaluating how long do I wait before I get one more good rep in.
Yep, and that's a win. She just needs to get one more. Soften that blow just a little bit. I can guarantee you when we get back, we'll be doing some more rope climbs.
30 seconds to the finish here. And it's getting close to the now or never time.
That's right. It's probably going to take at least 15.
And that looks like she's going to give herself 20.
Good. She's got that hand over hand. She's staying tight. As long as her elbows don't get fully extended. She's got one more pull. Come on.
Oh, man.
Oh. Right when you give it up, and that's time. Right when you bend those arms to a straight position, man, it's really hard to get you back into a good spot.
We've all been there.
Oh, I tell you what, man. Been stuck at the top with one left, and that is the most miserable place you could be, especially in the middle of a workout.
Remember the quarterfinals workout? I think it ended with 9 rope climbs or 9 legless or something. And I had a buddy who was, he was at the last pull of the last rep, and he failed it, and it took him like 3.5 minutes to get that rep back.
Even the games when they were at Fort Worth, man, they had teams, and it was, Team Invictus. I'm trying to remember her name now. But it was the team with Phil Muscarelli. Also, that's Hannah Black was on that team, I think, and I'm trying to remember the other female athlete, but that was just it was a tough watch, man. That legless rope climb just chewed her up, and she knew that was going to be the case, but she got to the top maybe 2 pulls or 1 pull away 3 times, and that's just a challenge. That's a tough go.
Well, this is the heat you've been waiting for.
This is the heat everybody's been waiting for.
We've got lane 1 closest to us. Athletes getting everything set up on the floor. That's going to be Grace Lochner. Trista Smith, and right next to her, Miley Wade. She always has some kind of pink in her outfit, easy to spot on the floor. Jessica Andrazik moving further away from us, and then Sienna or CJ Pescasolita.
This is going to be a good race and a lot of mayhem athletes, so I feel like you guys know that the rope climbs are already something that they do a lot of, as well as machine work. We've got some shorter athletes, but also I think all these athletes are going to be able to tackle this rope climb. It's just about how fast are they going to be able to push themselves up that rope, back down, and then be really composed when they get to those last couple, especially to see what racer. And I'm excited to see if this race pushes some people to do something that they're not maybe ready for or that they planned for.
Well, you also got to keep in mind just what's on the line, right? At this competition, James has actually cultivated a decent prize purse, but it pays out the top 3 and an event win.
Yeah.
So when we look at the overall leaderboard, Miley Wade 4 points ahead of Trista Smith. Trista's only 1 point ahead of Jess Andrazik.
Mm-hmm.
And then you got Gracie Lochner, who's sitting in 6th, and CJ, who's in 7th.
I get an opportunity to train with Trista quite a bit, and I think in the last year she has elevated her training once she moved down to Vancouver, and now she's closer to Adam. But more than that is she's been taking every workout and just really, really biting down. She hasn't really left anything on the table, and so I think you're going to see some awesome stuff today for her.
Yeah, I spoke to a couple people who know her and see her in training regularly leading into this competition because I was curious. She, I think she declined a WFP invite late in the year. She went to Crash, I think,
yeah,
but didn't do too much competing in the fall.
No, and that was on purpose. Yeah, she wanted to really focus on some of those gaps and honestly just get to a time where she gets more eyes on Adam. Being around Adam, she gets some more eyes on, and really that's been a huge success for her just because she was training out of her garage for a while, and then she'd jump into workouts in a gym where she just doesn't really have the push that she needs or wants. So it's really fun to be able to train with her because I can push her in some areas. In some areas she puts it down on me. So
it's fun to have training partners like that. Sometimes, especially when it comes down to the workouts where you guys are very close or there's a back and forth. You might get her on this, she might get you on that. And that's what we might have here because we've seen it in a couple of the women's heats a little bit more than the men, where despite the different parts of this workout, you end up getting that ski erg at the end. And if she can lean into some of those training sessions that she's had with you or other people at Fort Vancouver, that can really pay off in the last part of a workout like this one.
Absolutely, and her mind shift has been huge. I mean, she didn't come here to take second. She came here to win, and she might be bubbly and sweet off the competition floor, but the second that thing goes 3-2-1, man, she's on.
And the girl that she's chasing right now, Miley Wade, is exactly the same.
Yeah, absolutely. 150 off for Miley and Androsic. Trista shortly behind her at a 158.
Yeah, no, that gap is not
at all
consequential. This is, like we said, the first 50 reps, the buy-in here to those legless rope climbs is just about getting there, feeling good enough to execute your plan on those 10 legless rope climbs.
Absolutely. Even if you gave up 10 seconds off the ski, you'd still be okay. Think about that's the second a rope climb, so making your way back to that rope climb would be just fine. And that's where all the time's going to be made up.
Grace Lochner closer to us there, and CJ also off the ski, but the middle 3 women, the top 3 on the leaderboard and the top 3 in the heat here, split times also are right up there with the fastest that we've seen yet. So only unanswered questions going to be on the rope.
Yeah, absolutely. It's getting excited. And Drosic looks like she's leading the pack with 4 left.
And Drosic's an interesting one. Coming into this weekend, everyone kind of thought she could win 3 workouts, and then it would be about engine room and the legless rope climbs, whether or not she'd be relevant for the overall lead. These 10 reps are really going to be the answer because I think she's the favorite on paper for the finale.
Absolutely. I think this is going to be a great one. And, mayhem athletes, let's be real, GHDs and rope climbs are something that is in their daily repertoire.
Well, and look on this first rep. She pauses almost a full yard short of the green tape line and then does that full swing and reach, which is a technique that more and more athletes have been implementing. Yeah, and like you said, she gets plenty of chance to practice these with a lot of very competent rope climbers.
Yeah, absolutely. And if that's going to take some of your grip strength and save it for the end, I mean, that's not a bad. That's probably 2 poles she's saving.
And Trista, on the other hand, she's pulling tight and high all the way up, never stopping the momentum. So both things can work, but it's a totally different way to do it. Miley Wade, another Mayhem athlete, and she's going to do the same thing as Jessica here. Stop, full momentum, big reach, and come back down.
Yeah, another big pull for that last rep.
Grace Lochner, closest to us on the screen there on the right. And we've been talking about that she's got great engine. She's been working on her strength. She actually took 7 months off competing, totally changed her training. It's going to be interesting to see how it transfers to some of the gymnastics.
Yeah, absolutely. And I got to see her work out just a little bit. Her and Trista were on a team at Wadapalooza together, and that was a lot of fun to watch them. And it's great because everybody's learning off each other.
Jess Androsic, Miley Wade, same style there, side by side, getting another good rep in. We're just at the 4.5 minute mark. In terms of scores to beat, we saw both Lena Mantica and Elsie Larson coming off about that 650, 655 mark. Lena closed pretty impressively on the last 50 reps as well, so we'll see how close to that these women can get. The one thing I've noticed with these particular women this weekend is when Miley Wade gets to the last 10 or 20% of a workout, she has this uncanny ability to turn it up to level 6.
Yeah, absolutely. We've seen that in the last few events actually as well. You know, tracking down people on the barbell, and then even before that, man, she's been a hammer. She's doing really good. She looks like she's getting a little stuck at the top of the rope, but that big long stride is a lot of time under tension if you're taking too long to swing those legs back and then get up to that last rope. So we'll watch her. She looks like right now.
Trista's rope climbs there look a lot like Elsie Larson's to me, keeping everything tight, getting the full weight into every pull so that she can use that momentum as much as possible to get herself up and then back down quickly.
Absolutely. If you see it slow down at the end, that's when you start to get curious how the next rep's going to look. But she looks smooth all the way up to the top.
Hands up for all 3 of the women in the middle of the floor. We mentioned Androsic was first there. It looks like the other 2 have closed the gap. They're all, I think, maybe 3 to go, 2 to go.
Looks like Trista's on 2. And she might be taking her next one. So it looks like Trista might have jumped the lead.
Miley, I think, on the same rep, but slower to get up onto the rope here.
This is where it's curious to see how this next one's going to be. Ooh, she had to take another pull. Okay, so a little out of the norm. Fatigue is definitely setting in. We'll see how long she takes on this next one. She finished that at 6:08. Let's see if she can get back up in the next 20 seconds or sooner.
I think Trista's next rope climb is going to be her last one. And after...
Oh, there it is. Trista's on the floor. Androsic and Emily with one left. Emily's on her working on her last one. And there she goes.
And Trista comes off about 30 seconds ahead of those split times we were talking about, but less than 10 seconds ahead of Miley Wade. And Trista's already seen Miley close on her once or twice in this competition. And I know that that's not sitting well with her. So I think Trista's going to be very motivated here to close strong on this one.
Absolutely. And just wait. This is going to be awesome, especially at the end. This is where these 2 athletes are going to level each other up. Trista is she's no slump when it comes to finishing hard. I mean, I've known personally in workouts where I got a good lead and then she comes out of left field and decides to run me down. So this is going to be fun.
Yeah, we know there's some girls working on those kettlebells back there, but we're going to try to keep up with the top 2 here because it's getting loud in here. Both of them came with big support crews.
4 left for Trista. 3 left. It looks like they're almost neck and neck. Trista may have a lead on by 1 rep. All right, Trista's on the ski. Emily has a couple more reps. Androsic is now to the kettlebells. It's going to be a race on the ski. She gets about a 10-second lead. So it's going to come down to the wire. She's going to have to push.
And we'll be right back with the leaders. You're going to see CJ finish up her last rep here. That's a second to last rep for Grace Lochner, but the battle's on here. And really, like, Trista's 4 points behind her on the leaderboard. She cannot afford to give up another point here. She's got to she can't even think about the fact that there's another workout. This literally has to be everything you have and make sure you get this point.
Absolutely, and tough being in a race like this because even getting in front of her, you know, you don't give up much, right? Miley's still going to have a point spread on her, but as long as you can chew it up and hopefully get her on that last one, Trista's definitely she's got to pull this one through.
Yeah, chip away and send the message that I'm not letting you win this thing easily.
Absolutely.
I saw Trista got a push. Here we go. Make it happen.
Androsic on the last set of kettlebell snatches. CJ as well. Grace Lochner, 1 more rope climb to go in the background. But right now all eyes are on Miley Wade in the pink shoes And Trista Smith in the white top.
Trista Dawn Smith, baby, let's go.
Time to beat 10:05. That's a long ways off from these two. Andrasik's going to come join them on the ski. We're going to see a first and second. The question is, who's it going to be?
Absolutely. This is a race, and it looks like Miley, just like you talked about, is kind of picking up that last push. Looks like she's got a hand up. It's going to be a close race. We don't see a hand up for Trista, but I think she's close.
Goodness,
Judge got
man.
the time. Wow, Miley's finishing at a 9:13 unofficially. Trista with a hand up.
That is just ridiculous. She's done that on 4 workouts now.
That is absolutely insane.
Dude, she's 18 years old, CrossFit Games teenage champion, 300-pound back squat already.
Oh, my God.
And an engine like that.
That is so impressive, and that's her ability to stay in the workout the whole time, even when she sees people out in front, especially with few reps to get. She puts the hammer down, man. She is no one to take lightly. Good job, Miley Wade. Trista Smith coming in behind her.
Yeah, Trista did everything she could there. She's absolutely spent, and she sent it. And sometimes you just get beat.
Yeah, absolutely. At the end of the weekend, you got to look at how you performed. If you executed and your effort was there, you cannot be mad about the way you performed, right? There's going to be opportunities for other people. And if they train harder and they're better, then you tip their hat to them and you come back out and make sure you get them on the next one.
Lena Mantica is going to end up taking third on this. Hell of a performance for her, and it looks like Elsie Larson's going to get in fourth, so another top 5 finish for her. And after that engine room workout, it's been 6th or better on every single workout for Elsie Larson as well.
Jessica Androsik, she's looking at 2 reps left.
Yeah, and I think there's about a minute from Elsie's time to Emily White's,
right.
and Andrasik's going to easily come inside of that. So I think 5th place for Andrasik, which should really just solidify her in that 3 position.
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
She's going to go for the win on the last workout, but I think that at this point she's answered all the questions in terms of the podium. Like, a podium is right there for her.
Absolutely, and I think she got into a spot too after the rope climbs, just knowing she just needed to finish smooth and not do anything outside of her wheelhouse, and she did just that. So
CJ Pesco-Solido on the far side of the floor. She's had a pretty good competition. She's sitting 7th overall. She took her lowest finish so far on the barbell earlier, but she's getting set to finish up. She's going to be very close to Emily White's time.
Unofficially 11:16.
And that's actually going to be, if that's the correct time, 2 seconds ahead of Dotson and 7 seconds ahead of White. So those are critical points for her. That's right huge. There against women from other heats.
That's huge.
And she beats Grace Lochner as well, and immediately those other times come in between. Grace had 4 points on her, so she's going to be narrowing that gap as she tries to inch up inside that top 10.
Yeah, very impressive.
Grace Lochner's about to finish up. She's going to be underneath the 12-minute mark, very close with Ntea Flores. As always, all the results will be on Competition Corner.
Looked like an unofficial 11:47 for Grace.
That might be right in between Flores and Carla Castura, so it'll be close.
It is a tight race.
5 events done, 1 event to go. We're going to shut it down here on the main floor. We're going to head to the second floor where the finale is going to be. Adam, man, thanks for jumping on. It's so much more fun to have someone in the booth, especially when it's someone who knows what it's like to be out there competing, knows some of the athletes out there doing that. I really appreciate it.
Definitely, absolutely. Thanks for having me. I really appreciate it. It was fun to pick the workouts, and honestly, just watching it all unfold, getting the leaderboard up and just having that good commentary, man. And I think it helps watching too as well.